Be Attentive, Series 15. Volume 32, March 19, 1933. What eternal triumph it will be! What honor and glory for the one who has thought and operated in a holy way! And what confusion for the one who has deposited in the human volition sins, passions, unworthy works, and will render himself bearer of his own evils. And if the evils are very grave, he will be pasture of the infernal flames, and if less grave, he will be pasture of the purging flames, such that they will purify that soiled human will by way of fire and of pains. But it will not be able to restore to him the good, the holy works that he has not done. Therefore be attentive, because everything is numbered and written. You do not lose, neither you nor us, anything. Even one thought, one word will have its perennial life, and they will be as faithful and inseparable friends of the creature. Therefore it is necessary that you form holy and good friends, so that they can give you peace, happiness, and perennial glory. Volume 32, April 2nd, 1933. Now listen to me, good daughter, to the great prodigy of our life in the creature that no one else, for whatever love and power that he could have, can boast of saying. I can bilocate myself, and while I remain what I am, I can form another life of mine inside of a person who I love. It would be mad and absurd to say it. Neither angel nor saint has this power. Only your God, your Jesus, has this power, because our being is fullness, is totality, is everything and fills everything. And in the immensity in which it finds itself that envelops everything, it breathes, and with a simple breath we form our divine life in the creature. And our will dominates her, nourishes her, and makes her grow, and forms the great prodigy of enclosing our divine life in the little circle of the soul of the creature. This is why your continuous I love you is ours. It is the breath of our life. It is our heartbeat that does not know how to palpitate other than I love you, I love you, I love you. This serves to maintain our life that does not know how to do anything other than love, give love, and want love. Therefore, while this I love you is ours, it is our breath and also yours, because while we give you love, you give us love. And fused together, ours is woven with your I love you. They meet each other, become one with each other, and one I love you alone is felt, while they are two, that enrapturing each other in turn, form one alone. But who feels this life alive and palpitating in her? The one who lives in our will. She feels ours, and we feel hers, and we live together. All the other creatures keep it suffocated, and they live as if they did not have it. And my love gives and does not receive. And I live in them with a sorrowful and delirious love, without anyone knowing that I am in them. Therefore be attentive, and let your I love you be continuous, because it is nothing other than the outlet of mine. Volume 32, April 23, 1933. Now, the one who lets our will reign, we can call her our clock, who, winding the cord, marks the minutes and hours of our works, and has the good of knowing the hours of the day of our divine will. Now if one winds the cord, the clock runs until the cord stops, nor does it interrupt its running. In the same way, the soul, if she receives the cord of my will, must make her walk, and if she wants to stop, she cannot do it, because the cord moves the small wheels of her soul and makes her go ahead in the great day of the hours of our works. Therefore be attentive to receive the goods of this divine cord, if you want to know the hours of the day of the supreme Fiat. Volume 32, April 29th, 1933. Now in heaven, in my celestial fatherland, there are no labors, neither on my part nor on the part of creatures. The one who enters into these celestial regions puts down her burden and says to herself, "My labor is finished. What I have done is done, nor can I add even one comma more to my labor, to my sanctity. And I cannot make new conquests in their souls, because death says confirmation, nor can they take one step more. Therefore, there are no labors in the celestial fatherland, but everything is triumph and glory. I can say that all the display that I do of giving new joys, new happiness, and continuous beatitudes, such that I keep all heaven enraptured, is all on my part, because it is not given to me to acquire anything more on their part. This is why they please me even more, because the conquests, the labors, the enjoyments that I find in these terrestrial heavens of the human volition cannot be where all is triumph and glory, not even in the regions of my divine fatherland. Therefore be attentive, and never go out of my will, and I promise you to never stop my divine labors in your soul. But to our sorrow we see that as she descends into the exile, she does not think about her royal place any more, nor about the nobility of her origin, and she would want to slip away from our will, which more than a tender mother carries her in her arms. And making use of the doors of the senses that we have given her, she descends into the baseness of her human will. These doors we had given her to rise again to us, so that she could make her little escapes from the exile into the bosom of her Creator. Instead, she makes use of them to make her little escapes into miseries, into weaknesses, into passions, such that descending from her nobility, she recognizes that she is no longer the princess of heaven, but the servant of the earth. Yet despite this, we do not close our doors that are our love, our paternal goodness, our compassionate mercy, the expectations that we have. And no sooner do we see that she closes her doors in order to come into our will, than we go to meet her. We open wide our doors to her. And seeing her as an uncultivated beauty, with her princess garments torn, dirty, we do not make her one rebuke, but with all paternal compassion we tell her, "Where have you been? Poor daughter, how you have reduced yourself! Have you seen how much evil you have done by living in the baseness of your human will not united with ours? You have walked without guide, without light, without food, without defense. Therefore do not do it any more, so that amending yourself you redo the good lost. We know that without our divine will the creature cannot do any good. It is as if she would want to see without eye, walk without feet, live without food. Therefore be attentive and never leave my divine volition if you want to find the strength, the light, the support, and your Jesus himself at your disposal. Volume 32, May 7th, 1933. Little daughter of my will, you must know that as the soul decides to live in my will, so much is its love toward her, that as she gets ready to do an act, so my fiat offers its act in that act, in a way that the human will remains as field, and my act as life. In fact, as she palpitates, it offers its divine heartbeat. As she breathes, it offers its breath. As she is about to speak, it offers its word in the voice of the creature. As she thinks, it offers its thought. And so if she works, if she walks, it offers its motion and its steps. Therefore, my divine will is the bearer of its acts in the acts of the creature. This is the reason for its incessant love, its untiring attentions, because it wants to form all its life for as much as it is possible for a creature. It wants to find in her its sanctity, its heartbeat, its breath, its word, and so on. And how can the divine will find it if she does not give, and it offer it continuously? Therefore, such identification passes between the divine will and the creature who wants to live in it, that they render themselves inseparable from one another. Nor would my volition tolerate the least separation in one who lends herself to let it form its life. So be attentive, and let your flight be continuous in my divine will. Volume 32, May 14th, 1933. My wisdom is infinite. My industries of love are innumerable. First I do the deeds, and then the words, that serve to teach the creature how to receive, conserve, and make use of the good that I have given her and made known to her. To give a good without making it known is as if one would want to give food to the dead, and I have never had anything to do with the dead, but with the living. To make it known and to not give it would be a joke, nor would it be a way of our divine nature. Therefore, if I have manifested to you so many truths about my divine will, it is because I want to give you the gift of its operating life in you. If this could not be, I would never have told you so much. My speaking alone is messenger and bearer and depository of the great gift of my divine will, not only to you, but to the whole entire world. Therefore be attentive, so that my seed is reduced to dust in you, even to changing into your nature. And then you will feel with deeds the good of my will reigning in your soul. Volume 32, May 25th, 1933. And all love I say to her, my daughter, everything is yours. Take from me what you want. Rather, however much more you take, so much more I will be content, and so much more I will love you. But the most beautiful thing of this happy creature is that while she wants everything, she takes everything. She feels that she cannot contain what she has received, so she comes to her Jesus. She gives me everything. She pours herself into me, even her littleness, her little volition. And oh, how content I am by it. I can say that they are continuous exchanges of life that we make, I to her and she to me. So much is the strength of the union of the one who lives in our will between her and us, that we can neither place her aside from us in all our works, nor can she place herself aside. If this could be, it would happen as if one would want to divide the light of the sun in two, that which is impossible, dividing the unity of its light. And if one would want to try to divide it, she would remain scorned, and with the strength of its unity, the light would laugh at her. Or yet, to split the sky, to separate the strength of the wind, the unity of the air, are all impossible things, because all their life, the strength that they possess, remains in the unity. In such conditions one finds the one who lives in our will. All her strength, her value, her beauty, her sanctity, remains in the unique and united strength with her Creator. Therefore be attentive, and let your life be in us, and with our works. Volume 32, May 28, 1933. Now the knowledges about my divine will instruct the human volition, and she acquires science and reason, that it is not only justice to let it reign and dominate as primary life in her soul, but it is the greatest good, honor, and great glory that she can receive, that this holy volition, by dominating, arrives at giving her the state of divine royalty. Because she feels herself daughter of the great king, the royalty is also therefore her property. When the creature has arrived at comprehending all this by way of knowledges and lessons that my divine volition has made to her, everything is done. My will has conquered the human volition, and the human volition has conquered the divine will. The knowledges about it are so very necessary, because they serve to dry up the bad humors and substitute them with the holy humors. They are as sun that darts the human volition, and they communicate its life, its sanctity, and the ardent desire to possess the good that one knows. Therefore be attentive to listen to its lessons and correspond to such a good. Volume 32, June 4th, 1933. You must know that when our will works, as much in ourselves as in the human act, it never sets aside its creative virtue, nor can it set aside, because it possesses it by nature. Therefore its doing is always creation. So the one who lives in our will undergoes its creating act in her acts, and oh, how many marvels occur! Therefore be attentive and reverent and grateful. Receive in yourself, in your acts, this creating virtue that wants to do great things, not little, and only those worthy of our adorable will. Volume 32, June 15th, 1933. Now, if you call my divine will as life of your mind, as heartbeat of your heart, as action of your hands, and so forth, you will form the life of the intelligence of my will in your mind, the life of its actions in your hands, its divine steps in your feet, in a way that everything that you do will serve as veil for the divine life that you have formed in the interior of your acts with your intention. But what is this intention? It is your will that, appealing to mine, empties itself and forms the void in one's act in order to give the place of action to my will. And acting as veil, it hides even in the most ordinary and natural actions the extraordinary action of a God, such that from the outside common actions are seen, but if one removes the veil of the human volition, one finds the operating virtue of the divine action enclosed. And this forms the sanctity of the creature, not the diversity of actions, not the works that make noise, no, but common life, the necessary actions of life, of which the creature cannot do without. They are all veils that can hide our will, and make itself field where God abases himself in order to act as hidden actor of his divine actions. And as the body veils the soul, so the will veils God. It hides him, and by means of her ordinary actions, forms the chain of the extraordinary actions of God in her soul. Therefore be attentive. Call my will in everything you do, and it will never deny you its act, in order to form in you, for as much as it is possible for a creature, the fullness of its sanctity. Volume 32, June 29th, 1933. Now the one who lives in our will, with her acts makes herself cooperator of our life, that continually repeats itself for love of the creatures, and therefore we feel ourselves repeated by her littleness. And oh, the contentment, the happiness that we feel! And since our love finds its outlet, its exchange, in feeling its own life repeated by its beloved creature, then in the emphasis of the love and of the indescribable joy that we feel, we say, "We have given her everything, and she has given us everything, nor could she give us more, because we feel that she brings us our immensity everywhere. She appears from all sides. There is no point where she does not make herself felt. And oh, how sweet and welcome it is to hear everywhere in our life that she possesses, 'I love you, I adore you, I thank you, I bless you.' In fact, the task we entrust to the one who lives in our volition is to repeat our same divine life. Therefore be attentive, and let your walk be continuous." Volume 32, August 13th, 1933. When a good is not known, if they do not feel at least the dispositions of wanting to believe it, it brings blindness to the mind and hardness to the heart, and one can reach even to despising that good. But for the one who knows it and possesses it, it forms her fortune and her glory. She would give her human life in order to possess the life of my Fiat and its goods that she has known. And knowing it, she is all ears in order to listen to it. She is all eyes in order to look at it. She is all heart in order to love it. She is all tongue in order to speak of it. Rather, she would want to have who knows how many tongues in order to say the good that she knows, the prerogatives of the one whom she possesses as life, because hers is not enough for her to be able to say everything that she knows. Therefore, when I want to give a good, a gift, especially the great gift of my will as life in the creature, the first thing that I do is that of making it known. I do not want to give light and place it under a bushel, as if she would not have it, nor do I want to give my gifts in order to hide them as though buried in her. What is the use of giving them? And if she does not know them, how could the poor creature correspond to me, love them, and appreciate them? If I give, it is because I want that we live together, and united, we enjoy the good that I have given her. Rather, your Jesus acts as vigilant sentinel in order to watch over what I have given to my beloved creature. So to know means to possess. To possess means to know. For one who does not know, the truths render themselves difficult and without life. Therefore be attentive, and enjoy what your Jesus has given you and made known to you. Volume 32, September 10th, 1933. I will arm myself with power and with love, and the hour of triumph of the kingdom of my Fiat will sound. And then they say that I have manifested so many truths about my divine will. Why say them if its kingdom could not come to reign? My long speaking would have been a diversion, or perhaps an individual good. Of course not. Of course not. I can say that my speaking was the continuous disbursement that was put forth in order to make known what my will is, and that it must come to form its divine kingdom. Therefore be attentive, suffer and pray for a purpose so holy. After this I continued to immerse myself in the divine Fiat. I felt the need of entering into its sea in order to take the necessary nourishments so as to nourish and conserve its same will in my soul, the new act that it has, and that also in me feels the need of having its new continued act, its infinite refreshments. Therefore, while I was immersed in its divine sea, my dear Jesus added, "Blessed daughter, your little tiny river of my volition enclosed in you feels the need of plunging itself into the great and immense sea of my will. In fact, for the one who lives in my volition, she holds in her littleness the little sea of my volition inside of her, and its immense sea outside of her. And the little one feels the need of plunging herself into the great one, in order to always increase her little sea, and this she does every time she wants to do acts in my will. She comes to make her swim in the great one, and while she swims, she takes the nourishments, the divine refreshments, our freshness, in a way that she feels all renewed by the new divine life. And since my will has the communicative virtue, it does not let the creature go out of its great sea until she has been filled even to the brim with new acts of its will. See, therefore, it is awaiting your acts in order to give you its swim and communicate its new prerogatives that you did not possess. And if you knew what it means to take a new swim in the sea of my divine volition, every time one feels reborn to new life, she acquires new recognition of He who has created her. She feels re-loved even more by her celestial Father, and rises in new love for Him whom she loves. In sum, she is the daughter who knows her Father and wants to know Him more, and she does not want to do anything without His will. It is the Divine Father who calls her His daughter in order to keep her together with Him, so as to form of her a model of His. Therefore be attentive, and do not let any act escape that does not take possession in my supreme Fiat. Volume 32, September 17, 1933. And do you know what my divine will does? It gives life. It recalls everything to life. It makes rise in this life everything that it has done for the good of all creatures. It rouses the sweet memory of its works as present and in act, as if it were repeating them. Nothing escapes from this life. She feels the fullness of everything, and oh, how the creature feels happy, rich, powerful, holy. She feels the trousseau of all the good acts of the others, and she loves for everyone. She glorifies the divine Fiat as if they were hers. And my volition feels its work being re-given by her. Therefore the love, the glory of its divine works, and by the remembrance, the glory and the love of the other creatures being repeated. Oh, how many works are placed in oblivion, how many sacrifices, how many heroic acts that have been done by the human generations forgotten, that are not thought about anymore. And so there is neither the continuous repetition of glory, nor one who renews the love of those acts. And my divine will, forming its life in the human littleness, makes the memory of everything rise, in order to give and to receive everything. It accentuates everything in her, and forms its divine encampment. Therefore be attentive to receive these waves of my volition. They repour themselves over you in order to change your lot, and if you receive them, you will be its fortunate creature. Volume 32, September 24th, 1933. In the sanctuary of my holy humanity, I enclosed everyone. I watch over the little good as well as the great. But do you know why? Passing through me, I give them the value as if they were my works, prayers, and sacrifices. The virtue of the head descends into the members, makes a mixture of everything, and I give to them the value of my merits, such that the creature finds himself in me, and I, as head, find myself in them. But do you believe that my love said or says enough? No, it will never say enough. The nature of divine love is to always form new inventions of love, in order to give love and receive love. If a limit could be placed to this, it encloses our love in our divine circle. But no, ours is immense, and by its nature it must always love. This is why, after my humanity, I want to make follow the large field of my divine will, which will do incredible things for love of creatures. This is the reason for its knowledges, its wanting to reign. If it does not reign, how can it give liberally, to make a display of its surprises of love? Therefore be attentive, and you will see what my will knows how to do. You have reached the end of the Be Attentive series, Volume 32. Fiat.